you're getting a solid EDC knife. The more you use it, the more you break it in. Oh, I almost cut the, oh, did I just cut the table right there? I think so. It's gonna beat up your index finger and your thumb a little bit. I don't know if you guys could see that there, but yeah, after you do it a couple of times, you know, it's gonna beat up your fingers a little bit. But once you you know, kind of break it in. Hello and what is going on, guys? My name is Miguel. Welcome back to the channel, Miguel EDC, where we talk all about EDC gear. Today we're going to be looking at this Ganzo knife. This is an axis lock Ganzo knife. It's called the Firebird FB765. It's another one of those interesting names knives out there. This one is an axis lock, and so we're going to get into it here as we speak. This is actually my second axis lock. The first axis lock being the Flisa folding knife, this guy right here. So if you haven't seen the review video on this guy, make sure to check it out, because this thing is butter smooth right here, this guy. But the Ganzo, on the other hand, so the Ganzo is another one of those Chinese brands. A lot of their knives, I want to say, resemble you know, other American manufacturers, right? So there's a little bit of a gray area right there. We'll get more into that later in the video as we address that. But this one here, right, a lot of people claim it looks like the Benchmade bug out. I personally disagree, because the Benchmade bug out is a vanilla design that looks like many other knives too. So this one, in my opinion, looks unique on its own. I didn't find a knife that looks anywhere close to this particular one, and now that Benchmade has made the axis lock available so that other companies can use it as well. All other companies are coming out with their own version of the axis lock, right? Kershaw they just launched the Dura lock, and so many more companies are coming out with their own version of the axis lock, right, for their knives. But so this guy here, quick rundown, we have a G10 like military green looking scales on this guy. We have this is a satin finish 440C, so it's a high carbon type of steel. It has a decent amount of corrosion resistance. It's going to be up there in the budget category. By the way, links will be in the description for all the products that you see on this video today. Those do help out the channel at no extra cost to you, so keep that in mind. But yeah, so this guy comes in at around, I want to say $21 or $22, right? And I mean, for the price, right, if you're looking to get into an axis lock, I mean, this guy, you know, there's very little to complain about, and we're going to get more into that as the video progresses. So let's go ahead and kind of summarize this guy here real quick. Okay, so G10 scales on this guy, this dark green, right? They get the job done, right? They feel decently you know, grippery. Got the liners here inside. They are milled. You can see them circles, the milling right there in the inside. You got circles going on both sides, just like I talked about on the last video with the Flisa folding knife, right? This being an axis lock, you can see the milling right here. That's where the omega springs are going to be located, right there. And that is arguably the weakest point of this knife. It's what most people think about when they think about axis locks, right? Are the omega springs going to fail? They're possibly the one thing that's going to fail before anything else does on a axis lock knife. But I mean, no issues here. And you know, you kind of gamble a little bit anytime you take an axis lock with omega springs. You know, if you have a pair to replace them, you should be all right. If you carefully take apart your knife and replace them, you should be okay. And I mean, I feel like that's a good value, right? That's a good trade-off, right? Get the convenience of an ambidextrous knife. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing that with my left hand. Oh, I almost did it right there. Yeah, I get the benefits. Definitely my left hand is not as strained as my right hand for sure. But you get the idea, right? You get a knife that is very ergonomically friendly for both left-handed and right-handed people. And I mean, it's just a beautiful, you know, locking, opening and closing mechanism overall. All right, so this knife comes in around $22. So it is 12% discounted right now, and so it is not a price that is going to break the bank, right? Especially if you're looking to get into EDC for the first time. Check out the links in the description below, right? There are affiliate links that help out the channel at no extra cost to you. But for what it's worth, guys, about the $20 ballpark, right? You're getting a solid EDC knife. The more you use it, the more you break it in. Oh, I almost cut the, oh, did I just cut the table right there? I think so. Just stab the table there. This guy is a tank. Whoops. Okay. Well, a note to self to be more careful there as I'm folding open and closing a knife here in the future. Sometimes when I'm looking at the camera and kind of making sure everything is in frame and whatnot, stuff like that can happen. Although it's not very easy to see, this guy is riding on ball bearings, right? I'm sure they are steel ball bearings in there. Kind of hard to see or hard for the camera to pick up. Let's do the customary paper cutting, right? I wasn't doing this on the first few set of review videos, but kind of started doing this since the last review video, right? So let's see how this guy does. Look at that. Wow. And mind you, right, this has been after, oh, there we go, EDC in this guy for a while. So yeah, it depends the angle, right? Keep in mind this blade, right? It actually kind of has a Scandi type of indentation, so it goes from thin to very thick very quickly. Yeah, some cuts are butter smooth. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, kind of gets a little chunky in some portions. Maybe I need to work on my paper cutting skills, right? Maybe I'm the one that's, look at that, right? Yeah, that might be the one part, right? The fact that the blade gets really thick pretty quick. Again, 0.12 inches, right, on the thickest part might have something to do with how the cut goes. So it's still slicey, but you know, the blade does get a little bit chunkier towards the top. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Of course, the tip is very pointy, obviously, right? This drop point design looks very, very interesting. That being said, guys, again, if you're looking to get into access locks at an affordable price, I mean, the $20 range right there, can't go wrong with this guy right here. Keep in mind, like I mentioned earlier, it does take kind of a breaking in period, right, for you to break in the access lock, right? And by the way it works is when you push this bar back, right, it releases the blade, right? So there's a blade, and that also holds the blade in place. See, when it locks in, right, when the blade is fully folded, it locks the blade in place. So that's how an access lock works in a nutshell. This guy will make a perfect first access lock knife if you're looking to add that to your arsenal. If you don't already have an access lock knife, right, this is one of them. Also the Fleisa folding knife, right, these two, right, can't go wrong with either one. I would probably personally lean towards the Fleisa a little bit more because the action on this guy is a little bit smoother, and the blade is also thinner on this guy compared to the Ganzo, right. Also a little bit smaller too, right, you saw that on the size comparison. So leaning towards the Fleisa just by a hair, but again, they're both very, very solid when it comes to, let's say, your first access lock or even a budget access lock. Also makes a great gift for a friend, makes a great gift for maybe you're trying to get a friend into EDC, you're not too sure if they're gonna like it or enjoy it or what have you. You're taking a gamble and you don't really want to break the bank. This might be a good, a good starting point, definitely a good starting point to get a friend or family member or someone into knives. As far as the blade goes, right, that looks pretty aligned to me. You guys be a judge of that, but that looks smack in the center right there. All right, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, even after some heavy use on this guy, that blade is pretty spot on. And like I said, this guy is solid, right? There's no movement of the blade anywhere, side to side or anything like that. This thing is rock solid in place. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video on this guy. Let me know in the comments what you like to see, if I miss anything, if there's any specific question that you have about this guy that perhaps I didn't cover in the video. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to answer whatever type of questions you may have, or anything else you'd like to see in future videos. Let me know. Also, by the time you are done watching this video, it's very possible that the Civivi Elementum button lock, this guy right here, is already up in the channel as a review. If that's the case, I'm going to put a card right here for you guys to check this guy out. This guy is butter smooth for a flip open, right? All right, thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.